Hey guys, it's your girl Samantha and welcome to my channel. On today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to achieve this beautiful natural beat that I did on my client. If you want to know how to achieve this look yourself, then keep on watching. Okay, so I already started off with her eyes already primed and I used my P.Louise Base in the shade 3. Now I'm going in with my Juvia's Place palette and I'm using their Warrior palette. And I'm taking that light brown shade as my transition color. And I'm just patting it into her crease to build up that pigment. The brush I'll be using is the Morphe M433 brush. Then I'll be taking that nude shade from the palette and I'm using my Morphe M503 brush to pat it onto her eyelid. Then I'm going in with my Morphe 39A Dare to Create palette and I'm using that third shade in the first row and the fourth shade in the last row. And I'm just taking it and blending it into her crease and working my way out of her crease just to give that smoke effect, and I'm using my BH Cosmetics No. 5 brush. Then I'm just going back in with that transition shade just to build it back up, because sometimes your shadows can get lost. And this is a very simple look, guys. It just requires 3 shades and you're just going to go back and forth just to build up your eyeshadow color again. And as you can see, that's what I'm doing in the video. Now I'm using my Morphe M562 brush to apply my NYX Glitter Primer in her inner tear duct, and I'm just using that brush to lightly apply. You don't want to use too much because it will mess up the eye look. And the glitter I'll be using to top this look off is the jLaRue Cosmetics in Gold Digger. Now moving on to the skin, I'm going to be using my BECCA Ever Matte Primer. And this primer, you want to rub it in your fingers to warm up the product. Then you're going to pat, not rub. Because you rub, you're going to form little white balls on the face, which will interfere with your foundation. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this primer for anyone with oily skin. Now to conceal basically the primer, I'm going to be using Milk of Magnesia, just applying it with a light brush. You don't want to go in too much with this product. Now I'm going in with my two BECCA foundations. I'm going to be using their Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation in the shade Warm Honey. And I'm going to be mixing their Ever Matte Shine Proof Foundation in the shade Tobacco. And the only reason I use a luminous foundation and a matte foundation because I use two mattifying primers and I don't want to overly matte her face. So that's a tip you guys can take. And I'm going in with my Morphe M446 brush to buff out her foundation. Guys, I really enjoyed doing her face. Just the process and everything, the look really came together. As you can see, just look at her skin. You see how the foundation just matches her skin perfectly. Another tip is that, as you can see, I'm buffing the foundation into her skin. You always want to buff. You never want to swirl, swipe, none of that. Because if you do, your foundation and your face will just become very streaky. To highlight her face, I'm using this shade Tan Sand with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. And I'm just going underneath her eye, on her forehead, the bridge of her nose, her cupid's bow, and her chin. Now I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC45, and I'm just placing it on the outer part of her face just because the shade NC45 is close to her skin tone. And when highlighting and contour, you really want everything to blend seamlessly. You don't want to have no harsh lines. Now I'm going in with the shade NC42, and I'm just going underneath the eye and using that as an under eye brightener. To avoid looking like a cake face, honey, I'm using my rose water and aloe vera spray just to spray her face in between steps, or whenever I'm using cream products. For example, highlighting and contouring, you want to spray your face so all those cream products can blend into the skin seamlessly. Now I'm going in with my black opal foundation stick to contour her face. I'm not really sure what shade I use because I had so much of them all over my table. I have all the shades, but I did bring it down to 3 shades. I think it might be. It was either Toasted Chestnut, Suede Mocha, or Carob. It's either one of those 3. I'm not sure. I'm really sorry, guys. Once again, I'm spraying her face with the rose water and aloe vera spray. And to contour her face, the brush I'll be using is the Real Techniques contour brush. And guys, it's very important to blend upwards when you're contouring, or when you're blending out your contour, because you want to avoid any harsh lines, and you don't want to see any lines of demarcation from where your highlight starts, or where it stops, or where your contour starts, vice versa. Now I'm going back in with the same foundation brush that I used, and I'm just blending in between the highlight and contour so everything should just look smooth. You see how her face just looks like skin? That is what we want, guys. To set her highlighted areas, I'm going in with the AC Cosmetics translucent powder in the shade Butternut Beige. And guys, when I tell you this is the best translucent powder that I ever used, you know how some translucent powders be like, oh, it's flashback friendly. No, this is a man of its word. It really lives up to the hype. I really love it. I'm not going back to any other setting powder, and it's so smooth and fine. Like, you guys have to go and get it to see it for yourselves. And as you can see, I'm just taking the same beauty sponge that I used to blend out her highlighted areas, and I'm just patting it into her skin. We do not want to bake. Baking is so 2014. We're done doing that. We really want to cook, I guess you could say that. So I'm just patting it into her skin, and later on I'm going to eventually just go in a little bit more just for it to set. To contour her face, I'm using the Black Radiance contour palette, and the first shade that I'm using is the light to medium shade. Then to deepen up her contour, I'm going to go in with the medium to dark shade, and I'm just using some blush and powder brush that doesn't have any name to it. To contour her nose, I'm using the same palette, but I'm using the shade light to medium. You really want to use a soft brown color because you don't want to have a harsh nose contour. And the brush I'm using is an eyeshadow brush. It's from the Morphe Eye Slay 6-piece brush collection. Then to set her face, I'm going in with the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder in the shade Dark Tan. I'm going in with my Morphe E41 brush just to buff in that setting powder that's underneath her eyes and other highlighted areas as well. To set her face again, I'm using my Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray. Alright guys, we're almost done with the face. I already applied her lashes, wing eyeliner, and eyeliner off camera. Now we're moving on to the lips, and we're about to finish off the whole face. So for the lips, I'm using my favorite lip liner. This is the best lip liner for all my brown skin girls. It's the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Downtown Beauty, and I'm just lining her lips. Now I'm taking my BECCA Glow Gloss in the shade Beach Bum. This is the perfect nude. I just love doing nude lips. I do it on all my clients. It's just the perfect look for every beat. Then I'm taking my NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie. Then I'm just going to have her dab in her lips. You don't want to like have them rub their lips OD because it's going to mess up the liner. And I'm just going back in just to blend out the lip color. To finish off the looks, I'm going in with clear gloss that I just got from the beauty supply store, and I'm using my Real Techniques accent brush to apply the clear gloss. For blush, I'm going in with my ABH Blush Trio in the shade Cocktail Party, and I'm just swirling my brush in all 3 shades, and I'm using the Morphe M427 brush. And y'all, I'm not really a blush or eyeliner kind of girl, but recently I started doing it on my clients now, and I'm really starting to fall in love because it really just gives that look a pop and pulls everything together. And I kind of went heavy in on the blush because blush and contour are the first things that tend to wear off when you're doing your makeup. To highlight her face, I'm going in with the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Gold, and I'm also going in with my MAC Hyper Real Glow highlighter. And the brush that I'm using, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it'll be in the description box down below. Okay, so to top off and finish the look, I'm spraying her face with my ABH Dewy Setting Spray. And that's it, guys. And I just touched up her brows, making sure everything's good, fanning her so her face can settle in. Like, guys, just look at that beat, boy. Yes, eyebrows on fleek, eyeshadow on fleek, lips on fleek, period. Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys so much for watching my first very detailed makeup tutorial. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell for the next time I post. Stay tuned.